My name's Ian Fretwell. I'm a nurse here at Chesterfield and I've worked here for 36 years now. I started in 1979. But this film's all about recalling the enormous work that was involved in moving patients from the old hospital to the new hospital on the 29th of April 1984. And I remember it as clear as a bell as if it was yesterday. So the day started really early. I think everybody available was on duty. We had the police ambulance service that were on site to escort patients, and every patient that left the old hospital to the new was escorted by a nurse and a medical personnel. And I remember starting the day really early, about 6 o'clock, getting everything ready, the domestic staff, portering staff, people out of pathology service, every available man and services were drafted in to help this enormous event. I remember it being filmed not only by us, but also by Calendar and Look North at the time, and it made headline news because it was a prestige hospital that was built. Before the move, we had the opportunity to come and have a look around, and it was really state-of-the-art, even though it had been 12 years in its building, if I remember right, but it was an unbelievable experience compared to the old hospital. It was a bit of a buzz around the place, because it was a bit sad in one sense, because we were leaving the old road, but a new venture was starting. It was a bright, sunny day, a nice April morning. We were all a bit concerned about the move up to the top of Hady Hill, because we all thought in bad weather it's going to be tricky, this, you know, ambulances getting up there, you're going to need lots of grip boxes, etc. But I think to today, I don't think we've had many scary moments where that's been a problem. But on the day, yes, police escorts, blue lights, etc. When the first ambulances left the old hospital, I remember the staff coming out on the balcony, domestic staff, nursing staff, cheering and waving, celebrating this enormous event. And everybody sort of pulled together. You know, it was one of those moments that you think this is going to be history in the making. I think there are probably a total of about 40 to 50 patients transferred on the day, because obviously we discharged as many patients as possible. Some of the ambulances are a bit dated now, and some of the police cars certainly remind me of a bit of some old Z-cars type things, and you don't realise how things have moved on. On the actual day of the move, we actually had an emergency patient admitted just before the first patient arrived. So they picked the recognised first patient, and this lady arrived, I remember it really well, with chest pain, etc. So she was our first emergency patient. She slipped through the net before it all opened. It was a military precision exercise. Every patient escorted by nurses and medics, and we started with the acutely ill patients. The ITU patients were transferred first. I think there were 2 patients that were on ventilators that had to be manually bagged from the old hospital to the new hospital. It was quite a serious thing to do. Everybody was needed to make sure that all these patients were transferred safely, and of course you needed a receiving team at the other end of the hospital as well, so that was well prepared by staff receiving all the patients. So not only did you have ITU staff transferring with patients, there was an ITU team ready on the new build, ready to meet and greet patients. And I transferred from Basel ward, which was a surgical ward, and went into a brand spanking new coronary care unit, which was an unbelievable change. We'd not had a coronary care unit, only the use of monitors down at the old hospital, but the new one was all cubicle built and all the latest electronic monitoring equipment. So it was a shame to leave the old building behind with its sort of history from 1850 something, I think it was, you know, quirky ghost stories and lots of old floorboards. I remember when we first came here, we all took a battering of our knees because it was concrete floors. The old hospital was made of wooden floors and resistance in your bounce, and you didn't get anywhere near as much backache as we do today working in this new environment. I also remember the sort of visitors facilities. When you arrived in the main entrance, it's a little bit different then than it is now. There was a wooden pine triangular building which was a snack bar, and of course there was you could smoke back in those days, and that used to be absolutely full, not only of patients but staff smoking for England. And we all had greasy bacon sandwiches, and we were the most unhealthiest lot ever back in 1984, you know. And then things have moved on, you know, from hand washing, no smoking, etc., visiting and so forth. But I think what transferred to the new was that tight-knit community. I've always recognised Chesterfield Hospital as being a family. There's a lot of us have been here for 30 plus years. A lot of us have got kids who now work here, including myself, whose daughter works here. So there's lots of family commitment to the Royal. And I'd say, thinking back to 1984, it's a fond memory, really. even though I still can't believe it's 30 plus years ago.